everyone.
Hello.
Hey, I'm Lindsay. This is Maria, and we are Roomies Review the Movies, where
Yes.
we are old college roommates. I have a degree in film, and Maria's been reviewing movies for the past 20 years. And today we are reviewing 1992's White Men Can't Jump.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know we said last time we was going to do more money, but streaming is really hating on more money. So
Just
we
yanking
picked
it
up,
all over the place.
man. Soon as we catch it, it slips away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So happy Black History Month. We're doing
Yes.
White Men Can't Jump.
White men can't jump, so sorry.
Yes. And they definitely can't jump in Black History Month.
No.
So
Fools.
and we're doing the OG White Men Can't Jump.
Yes.
So this one stars Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes, and also Rosie Perez. So yeah, so this takes place in 1992 LA, on the mean basketball streets in LA. And we have Billy Hoyle, who we start out with, who we just randomly see him, just walking around with a basketball. And then we see him going to Venice Beach. And at Venice Beach, we see a basketball game that's going on. And on this basketball game, we have Sydney, who's played by Wesley Snipes. And we have a bunch of other characters. One of them is Kadeem Hardison, which was a big deal back then because of A Different World.
Yeah. Love
So,
Kadeem.
yes, awesome. So he has a minor supporting role, and
Unfortunately.
yeah, right. But of course he's a standout character because of A Different World. So we see them, in a pickup game, presumably, but this is pretty much a hustle that they got going on where they go around to basketball games or basketball courts and whatnot, and they play people for money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it's a whole bunch of trash talking going on. Now, when I was, 8 when this came out, a lot of these jokes went over my head. And for
Yeah.
me to watch this now and actually paying attention to a lot of stuff that they were saying, when I tell you I was dying laughing, I'm talking about in tears laughing, because they called this one guy's mom an astronaut.
Mm.
And he got so mad.
You're so mad.
I was like, why is he mad? Like,
I too was like, that's a problem?
like, that's a good thing, man. Like, and it was so funny because I was watching with my friend, and he was like, yeah, shoot, if my mom was an astronaut, I wouldn't be playing basketball with you.
No. You kidding?
Right. I was like, shoot, I wish my mom was an astronaut.
I would love to be at NASA right now. Leave me alone.
Right. You know what I'm saying? They got great programs,
But
Like,
you should definitely check out my reactions on our Blue Sky account, which is
okay.
Roomies rtm.bsky.social.
Yes.
I had a lot of reactions. So
Oh my God. Yes. I can't wait to read them, because when I tell you, I was crying. I was like, when watching it as a kid, I'm like, I questioned that part, and I was just like, why is it a bad thing? But it wasn't funny, like ha funny,
right.
until now. And I was in tears because this man was livid. He was about to fight him.
I was like, is this an update to like your grandma wears combat boots? Like, it's just like, what? It's just ridiculous. Why are you mad?
Right? He's like, my mom was not an astronaut.
Okay.
Okay. Noted. Your mom's not an astronaut. Like
it's some dirty rumor that he's been hearing all of his life or something. And how dare you bring this up on the court? Like, okay, so she's not a rocket scientist. I didn't mean to offend you. Like,
I mean, maybe she's a pilot. I don't know. Like
how dare you say that about my mother?
I'm like, is this a double meaning? I'm maybe,
right. That's what I was
like. Oh my God. I was laughing so hard. But yeah. So that was a whole little thing. So he had to, because Sydney is the one that called his mama astronaut. So he had to calm him down. He had to be like, all right, your mother's not an astronaut. Your mother's not an astronaut. Y'all are good.
My bad. Right.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Right. They had to dap it up because it was about to be some furniture moving around them. So they're doing their trash talking or whatever, and Sydney is just basically like, yeah, I can beat you with anybody that you pick on the court, right?
Because they have like a whole little team, and it's really just him, and he's just trash talking everybody.
Yeah. So he was just like, all right, bet I can put up money or whatnot. So they put up money, and then they was just like, give him the chump. So of course they are talking about Woody Harrelson and Billy Hoyle, and they go up to him and they say, you want to run, and he went on ahead and ran it with him, and then they realized, hey, this dude actually got game. So with them realizing that or whatnot, excuse me, Sydney and Billy ended up winning the game. So the dude lost his money to Sydney and whatnot, but of course now the wheels are turning in Sydney's head. So Billy goes on about his business and whatnot, and Sydney follows him home, quote unquote home.
Right.
And which he's staying in a motel. So then once he goes to the motel, this is when we meet Rosie Perez. And Rosie Perez is Billy's girlfriend.
Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria. And so we find out that they're pretty much, on the run, if you will. And they're trying to save up this money that he wins from hustling to pay these people. They're called the Stoogie Brothers. We don't know exactly why yet, but they owe them $7,000.
They're supposed to be hiding out in this motel.
Yes.
Yet, Sydney finds him the same day they met.
Yes. So they're not hiding very well.
Not at all. Horrible at this.
Yes, extremely horrible. Another thing that's going on is
you didn't notice Wesley Snipes following you, Billy?
Right. Just this random black guy, that's loud.
That you just spent like a whole afternoon with. You don't think it's strange that he's following you home?
Right. Just no thought about that whatsoever. But so they we find out also with Gloria that she has aspirations to be on Jeopardy. So she spends her days studying. She's studying almanacs and encyclopedias and all kinds of stuff so that she can be filled with all these random facts so she can get on Jeopardy. She already submitted her application. She feels like they're going to call. Now, one thing that I always question about this movie that I did bring up today when I was watching it again was how are they going to call you from at a hotel? We didn't have cell phones like that back then. So do you call them and update your phone number every time?
Probably.
Yeah.
Reapplying.
So then you're back at the bottom of the list each time. So yeah. But hey. So yeah. So she has this whole aspiration to be on Jeopardy and whatnot. Meanwhile, Billy is out hustling to get money for them to live and to pay the Stoogie brothers back and whatnot. And so while Billy is taking a shower, they get a knock at the door, and it's Sydney. And
Well,
um,
before that though,
mhm.
they're on the bed making out or whatever, and she's like, "You stink. You know, you need to go take a shower."
Yeah,
And he's like, "All right, fine." He spreads her knees apart, puts the money of jar in between her legs. It's like, "Hold that right there. I'll be back," or whatever. What did he say?
yeah. He said, "I'm gonna put my face where the money at."
Right. I was like,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, sexy, very sexy. So
But Woody Harrelson is not a sexy looking guy.
you know, I've never looked at him that way.
He has no top lip for one. Yeah.
And then there's that. Yeah. Um. Yeah, he doesn't have a top lip. He has a lisp.
Well,
But
that doesn't bother me, but like also it's like the hairstyling as well. Like
yeah, the hair
if
is
he,
not good.
yeah. He looks much better today, honestly, just bald.
Agreed. Agreed. Um. Yeah. Speaking of, he got a movie coming out
Oh
soon where
shit.
he's like a captain of like a submarine mission or whatever, and it's his last mission, but the mission goes left. So
Oh,
it looks pretty good. I forgot the name of it, but it looks pretty good.
all right.
Um, I've been saying this about Woody Harrelson. He is completely underrated, and he doesn't get his flowers.
He's a very good actor.
He's extremely good. He's
Yeah.
one of the greats.
Yeah.
So, but anywho, we just gave him his flowers right there. So, so yeah, he said that. He said he was gonna put his face where the money is.
I was like, all right.
Um, yeah, I'm so like I've seen it so much, but actually like paying attention
Uh-huh.
is just like, yeah, I'm catching a couple of things where I'm dying laughing, and then a couple of things where it's like, you know. So, but but I have seen this movie numerous times. It's just
Yeah. I'm
it's a
not
whole different
sure
thing.
if I think I've seen parts of it and
Hmm.
probably not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Uh, or it could just be that it was because I remember it when it came out and everything, and it was
Hmm.
incredibly popular.
It really was. It really
Um,
was.
so I'm not sure if I'm just remembering that or like I actually saw parts of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember going to the drive-in to see this when I was
oh
a kid.
wow,
Yeah. Yep. So it was a big deal. You're definitely right about that. It was a huge deal. Um, and then every black guy that thought he had some hops or did have some hops, they had to go see this movie.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I remember my dad taking us because my dad played ball. So I remember it was
Yeah.
like a whole family event. So yeah.
Um,
But anywho, yeah, so Sydney comes, knocking on the door or whatever, and he pretty much is, scoping the scene while he's talking to him about a business opportunity. So before Billy had opened the door, he told Gloria, like, count to 30. If I'm not back in 30, jump out the window.
mhm.
And so that's what she did. She counted to 30, but then she realized that it wasn't the Stoogie brothers. So she comes out all hostile and was like, yo, I was about to leave. You should have came and got me or whatever. So this is when Gloria and Sydney meet. And they keep their money in a jar, in a big
Glass
old
jar.
glass jar. And so
So anybody
Sydney,
can see.
right, anybody can take it. So Sydney sees this and he's like picking up the jar and whatnot. And, you know, Gloria takes it from, no, first, when he first picked up the jar, Billy took it from him, but then Gloria grabbed the gun and pointed at his head and started going off on him. I was like, she about to blow his head off for that jar.
And
And
it
so,
doesn't even have all the money they need.
No, it's not even a good fraction of
Yeah.
it.
I think it's like
So
10% what they owe.
maybe.
Like, you
So
gonna shoot somebody over that, girl?
right. She was not playing no games. Not playing no games. So he starts like she ends up putting the gun down or whatever. He chills on the bed. And so then somehow, which I think this was bad editing, somehow he got the jar again.
Yeah.
And so while he got the jar again, that's when Gloria took it from him. And so that's when he offers a business opportunity that, we can go in here and run this hustle on these courts. We can go around to the different areas of LA and people won't see you coming because you're a white boy and you look like you don't know how to play. Just pretty much, going off of the stereotype, So Billy agreed. And so they go over, I think they was in Inglewood. They go over there and don't quote me on that because it could have been Watts. But yeah, they go over to an
I mean,
area.
they go through a few different neighborhoods, so
Yeah, it's several different neighborhoods they hit up. But they go over to this area and Sydney's already there. He's already playing, and then Billy shows up. Billy shows up and he's just, sitting around being a spectator or whatnot. So then they run the play like, hey, I got all this money and it's $500. So my $500 against anybody that you pick here to be my partner up against your 500. So they ended up picking the chump, which is Billy. And so, of course, he runs the game. Oh, you can't pick no white boy. Like, the white boys don't count, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, no, you said anybody. That's what we picking. So, Billy ends up being his partner. But homeboy ain't got the money. So, he goes.
Raymond.
Yes, Raymond. So, Raymond goes to the car.
He's like, I'm going to go to the car and get the money. And I was like,
right.
Okay. You keeping $500 in your car, sir?
In your car, of all places, right? So he goes out to his car and he grabs his gun and ski mask. Then this basketball court is next to a liquor store. And so he goes around the side of the liquor store or whatnot. And then he comes in to try to rob the place. But of course, he doesn't change his voice. And the clerk, who is played by Ronaldo Ray, he's like, Raymond, is that you? And
recognizes
like,
him immediately.
Immediately. No, that ain't me. That ain't me. He was like,
right, he changed his voice to sound higher.
Right. So yeah, he's like, man, put that gun down. And so then he's just like, man, I need the money real bad. And then he grabs him saying, I really need the money. And he's like, get your hands off me. So then he's saying, can I sell you this gun?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's a real dangerous neighborhood around here. You need some protection.
Right.
From the person who just tried to rob him.
Exactly. So they ended up negotiating $250 for the gun. So he comes back and he's like, I got $250. So they kind of argue a bit about the $250, but they ended up running the game for $250. So they ran the game. Of course, Billy and Sydney win. So after they win or whatnot, Raymond pulls out a knife.
He pulls out a single blade razor, like the kind you see in barbershops.
Right.
Which I was like, okay.
Yeah, he was gonna nick him.
Did you rob a barbershop for that one?
Like, right.
Are you literally don't just get or have single blade razor.
Right. It's like so random. Yeah. But yeah. So he pulls out this razor and he's going after them because he's gonna cut them because he realized he just got played. So he's pissed. And so now he's threatening them. Instead of people just running away, they're like trying to calm him down, talk him down and whatnot.
Yeah. This girl, I guess, who's his girlfriend's like, come on, Raymond, you play fine. What's the problem? I was like, girl,
right.
You don't run like everybody else.
Okay. So they are They're talking to him, trying to calm him down. It's not working. And Billy is saying to Sydney, like, Sydney, what is your deal? Why are you talking? Why are you trying to, negotiate with him? You got a wife and kid. So Sydney's still trying to run the play. And he's like, how do you know my name? How do you know about my wife and kid? Cut this motherfucker.
Right. Right. He was standing by Billy before. And when Billy started saying that, he switches to stand like behind Raymond.
Yes. He walked over to Raymond and was like, cut it. Yeah. You're right. So then he was like, you know what? Fuck both y'all. I'm going to the car, get my other gun. I'm gonna come back and shoot everybody. And I still say that to this day. So everybody is standing there like, yo. So then like he walks away. As soon as he walks away, literally everybody disperses. Mm-hmm. And they're jumping over the really high gates and everything. Now, when Billy came, he came off of the train because it was part of the play. However, his car was there and Gloria was there in the car studying. Yeah. So Sydney and Billy get into the car and they drive off. And so with them driving off or whatever, once they were free and clear, and then they're cool, and they ended up taking Sydney home. And so when they take Sydney home or whatnot, they are talking about hearing and listening to music. Mm-hmm. And having a whole, debate on hearing and listening to certain artists and whatnot. And then they take him home and he tells them like, hey, we got another play. I need you to be at this address and whatnot. So
before that, they get into a little argument. And really what it is that Billy is jealous of Sydney, because he thinks basically that Sydney could take his girl if he wanted to.
Oh yeah, he gets a bit insecure because he feels that Gloria's out of his league and he doesn't really know how he got her. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
because at one point he tells her to shut up. I was like, who are you talking
to? Yeah. And then he's such a fuck up,
He is.
So, and she's still with him, What I would have really liked, which I've said this for a while with this movie, is that there's no real backstory to for Gloria Billy.
and Billy. For either of them, really.
Yeah. Right. So, because how do you come together and be here? How did you, we got a little, we got a tad bit when he said that he went to school in Louisiana, but you went to
school. Why
don't
you both have jobs? Why are you both unemployed?
Right. How does a Puerto Rican I'm assuming from New York, because that accent is heavy.
Because of Rosie Perez.
Yeah, right. So we're just going to automatically assume that she's from New York. But how does a Puerto Rican from New York and a kid from wherever that went to school in Louisiana come together? How do y'all come together and then run this hustle across the country? How did y'all end up, where did y'all start from? How did y'all get to LA? Where's your family? Nothing.
Something. Right.
Yeah, we don't have anything. So, yeah, I would have liked a bit of backstory with them,
because it really kind of feels like they were shoehorned into this story that just could have been about Sydney and him trying to get a home for his family.
Yeah. But it's a lot going on. Mm-hmm. It's a lot going on. So yeah, they end up running another play. Oh, well, before they run another play, after they drop off Sydney or whatever, they end up playing some more music. And this particular song gets Gloria all riled up.
Right.
And yeah, so because we have to have a sex scene where Rosie Perez shows her tits. So The type of car he got is a beat up old convertible, and they are starting with her getting on his lap while he's driving the convertible
In traffic.
in traffic in broad daylight.
It's not
And
like this
nobody
is some
stopped.
lonely country road. Like,
Right. This is like Sunset Boulevard. like, like they like she is really trying to get it in with him while he's driving. Like this
oh,
is,
girl.
don't try this at home, kids. Like
Or ever.
right. So, then they get back to the room and they get it in. So we have our first sex scene in a basketball movie. So
very necessary,
yes, of course. Because how else do you celebrate a win? But anyway, so after they get it in or whatever, they're laying in a bed, and Gloria says, "Babe, I'm thirsty." So Billy gets up. Billy gets up and gets her a glass of water. And she says, "Yeah, I don't want water when I tell you I'm thirsty." And they have a
I want
whole
you to empathize with me.
right.
I was like, girl, what?
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I'm thirsty too." Well, Billy's
Then
like,
how about
"What?"
we go get some water? This is ridiculous.
Right. Maybe I'll give both of us a glass. Like, So Billy is just like, I don't know what you're on, but if I'm thirsty and somebody has some water, can I please have a sip?
Okay.
And so, but then he was like, I guess if I want to have sex, I'll say like screw. And she gets mad at the screw word.
No, she was like, he says one thing, I can't remember what it was, but she's like, I hear less screw when you say that. And
Yeah.
she's like, I'm not a carpenter. And I was like, why are we having this discussion?
Right. It was such a crazy
He's
discussion.
confused. She doesn't know
Yeah.
what she's talking about.
Yeah. But she was just like, "Babe, if I tell you I want to make love, if I want to make love, I'm gonna say, babe, let's make love or let's fuck." It was like, so that word ain't as bad as screw. Okay,
I don't know.
like you lost me. You lost.
Yeah, very long. Like, I
So
understand that you want your partner to have empathy with you when you're going through a hard time or whatever. And that makes total sense. Instead of like trying to solve it, right? Because she was talking about that, how men try to solve things all the time,
yeah,
which is a
exactly.
thing. I have a very real thing they'll try to solve when really you just want to commiserate
Yeah,
or have somebody, empathize with you about whatever it is. However, that's not a glass of water.
it's not. It's not. And you're 100% correct. Like it is a thing. But it's for things that can't really be controlled. Like sometimes you just
Yeah.
gonna have to go through things and you want to vent. But a glass of water can be controlled. I can fix this for you. You are thirsty, let me get you a glass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like if I'm having an issue with my manager, that's something that you can't fix. So sometimes I just want to come home and just vent to you. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's where you empathize and you be a listening board and you be like, you know what? I've had issues too, babe.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
because if you sat there and empathized with me about being thirsty and didn't give me any water,
right? Right, we gonna have some problems.
Okay,
we have some problems because at the end of the day, I'm still thirsty. Like
my throat is still parched.
Still parched. So yeah, this was a whole silly scene, but it was funny. So yeah, it's just the whole playing on the whole women from Mars or men are from Mars, women are from Venus type stuff. But even the Venus women are still like, you tripping, lady. Like,
what? Like,
so yeah. So, he's over it. He throws the glass. He throws the water that's in the glass in her face. Because he was over it. He was like, I am sick of you. I'm getting away from you right now. So he puts his clothes on and he leaves. When he goes down the steps outside the motel room, he sees the Stoogie brothers. They have found him. So he rushes back upstairs into the motel room, and he's like, they're here, let's go. So they have to get all their stuff together, and they have to hightail it out of there. So I think they jumped out of a window in the back.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and they ran. And so they ran a while, and they had to run over the highway, on the bridge over the highway and everything, but they went to another motel. So yeah, they don't have a car no more. The Stoogie brothers, they ended up losing the Stoogie brothers again. And yeah, so now they're in another motel. So then they go to another pickup game, and at this pickup game,
it's like 1,700.
Yeah. So they put up all this money or whatnot. Dude didn't have all the money, but his girlfriend was there. He had bought his girlfriend a necklace. So he goes up to his girlfriend, and he's just like, I need your necklace. And so, they going back and forth about that. But she also has a friend there and was like, I told you he wasn't nothing. I told you, blah, 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 blah.
And she was right.
True. But
how dare you give me a gift and tell me, oh, I need this to bet on a basketball game? Get out of my face.
Right. Get completely out of my face. So she ends up giving him the necklace. So they put the necklace up with the money. I don't even think the necklace was real, because when Sydney was like,
nobody thought it was real but his girlfriend.
Yeah. Right. Because when he said it ain't real, he was like, shh, don't say that loud.
Right.
So yeah. So they put up the money and the necklace against Sydney's money. And they pick Billy, of course. And they run the game. So when they're running the game or whatever, Sydney is not on his A game. He's missing shots. He's missing passes and stuff like that.
Not like him.
It's not like him at all. While this is going on, Billy is getting pissed off, because this is ultimately his money that was in the jar that they put up. So they ended up losing the game. And with them losing the game, Sydney's like, man, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah.
I wasn't playing my best game. My defense was off.
Yeah, I was really just off. Yeah. And so Billy is mad, but he's more sad than anything, because we get a bit of backstory with him in one sentence. Now I have to figure out a way to tell Gloria I lost the money again. So this is a pattern for him.
Girl.
Yeah. And I was watching it, and I was just like, there's no way I could live like this.
No way.
No way I could live like this at all. I would have left him alone a time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You've been telling the Tucci brothers or whoever.
Right.
He's over there.
Okay. I ain't got no parts. So he goes back to the motel, and he tells, her, I lost the money. She gets upset, rightfully so. And then she asks, what happened. So while he's telling her what happened and whatnot, she started putting two and two together. And she's like, you got hustled. Sydney hustled you. Billy is not trying to hear that. And she is like, you know what? We going over to Vista View, and we gonna get my motherfucking money back.
we don't ask about it. And he's like, oh, you can't ask about the money.
Right. You do. This is guy thing. Blah, blah. I don't care about none of that. We going over there. And so she,
you lost all the money we had in the world, and we're on the run from the mob. I can't ask for the money.
Right. Like, you got me messed up. I'm going to get my money. I'm going to get my money.
Asking is the least I can do.
Right. The very least. So he goes, and he goes with her, and like I said, they don't have their car no more, so they're on the bus. And she got a map out. and she's figuring it out, trying to get over there or whatever. And he's really trying to talk her out of doing it. This is a man thing. You don't understand. Blah, blah, blah.
I really do not like him.
He really pisses me off. Because, like I said, I could not live like that at all. There's no way. So,
over here trying to tell me it's a bad idea. How about all that betting was a bad idea?
Right. You constantly losing the money and not getting a real job. Because ain't nobody trying to take basketball from you, but you need to get a real job in real life.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. What are we doing? And so, yeah. So they're on the bus or whatever, and they're going over there. And so they go to his apartment in the Vista View Apartments. And so Sydney's wife, well, let me back up a bit. So one of the side scenes that's going on is they don't, especially Sydney's wife, does not want to live in these apartments somewhere. They're pretty much like California projects. Yeah. So she's like, we need another place. So they go and they find a house. She absolutely loves the house. Not only is Sydney a baller
outside and everything.
Yes, it's a whole neighborhood atmosphere. Like, this is her forever home. She wants this. But not only is Sydney a baller, but he also is like a jack of all trades. So he has like multiple different businesses to bring in income. They also have a baby. That baby probably ain't even one.
No. So, and he's really big on like not her wanting to have her work.
Right. So she is really adamant about them getting that house. So he is really trying to hustle up, the down payment to get this house for her, whatnot. So they go over, so fast back forward, and Gloria and Billy go over to the house. The wife answers the door, and Gloria is like, do Sydney live here? With all the New York attitude.
Yes.
And so this random lady is at this lady's house asking for her husband. So she's like, yes, he's my husband.
And who are you?
Right. And so she was like, well, your husband stole money from my boyfriend. And Billy is hiding on the side. And
he's such a coward. He's such a coward.
So she didn't know, like the wife didn't know that Billy was there. So Gloria had to pull him in frame. So, yeah. So, the wife brings them into the apartment.
Yeah, because she recognized him, because she actually had seen him in the first scene of the movie when they were first playing basketball. Because she had come by there to ask him for some money for groceries.
Right. So, so the wife comes to the living room where Sydney is and was like, this lady is saying you stole some money from her. And so she brings them in, and here comes Gloria and Billy. Now we see full frame that Sydney is chilling in his living room with the dude that just lost the basketball game to, Kadeem Hardison, and another guy from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like,
basically caught red-handed.
Right. They're like, oh shit, here we go, And so, and everybody's shocked on how beautiful Gloria is. And on top of that, that Billy got Gloria,
because she's out of his league.
completely. And so, Sydney pretty much says, like, he got hustled. It is what it is.
You hustled me that first day.
Yep.
I hustled you now.
Yep. And yeah, that's what it is. And so, the wife brings Gloria into the kitchen and was just like, well, let's go on ahead and have some coffee and talk, or tea and talk, or whatever. And so they go in there and talk. And then Billy and Sydney are going back and forth. And they almost come to blows. And this was another funny part. I forgot what he said, but it was something silly that Billy said to Sydney. I forgot what it was, but it was so silly that they were about to fight. Dang, I can't remember what he said, but
Yeah,
damn.
I was
Okay.
like,
So they so they are going back and forth in the living room and whatnot while the ladies are talking in the kitchen. And so the wife is like, "You're not getting your money back. That's just is what it is. Like, I'm trying to move out of here because there ain't no vista, ain't no view, and it sure as hell ain't no vista, no
the
view."
overview. They got that baby and everything. They're trying to move
Yeah,
out.
yeah, you're right. We trying to get up out of here.
Yeah,
So
and Gloria really kind of hears her out on that. Like,
yeah,
all right, it's
right,
reasonable.
like it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So we ended up finding out later that she ends up telling the story on why they're hustling. And this is when we get the exposition on the Sugi brothers or whatnot. So apparently she bought a car from them. The car was a lemon, and they
She
had
asked
issues. She asked for the money back, and they're like, "Yeah, no." So yeah. So they came up with a solution. They come back to the living room to tell the guys what they have worked out because there's a basketball tournament coming up, and it's a 2-on-2 basketball tournament, and they are to work together and split the prize. And I want to say it was like $5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah. So we do have a watcher. Marlon Bellamy is watching. He says this is one of the greatest basketball movies of all time. I definitely can agree with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. The basketball scenes had great play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only one was the one at the end for me. It just went on way too long because there was a lot of slow-mo.
Yeah.
You could like see all the moves, but they have like the voiceover on it. I did fast forward through that one.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
the other ones I really enjoyed.
Yes. And that's what I was saying when I was watching. I was just like, these are real skilled athletes. Like, you can't fake nothing that was going on in that movie. You know? Yeah. And then Marlon also says, Happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to you as well. Yes. So we have the tournament. And with the tournament, we see a bunch of, players while they're walking in and whatnot. And, one of them that's in one of the movies that we've reviewed in the past, which is another great basketball movie, was Dwayne Martin. Dwayne Martin was one of the 2-on-2.
The one with the Z in his hair?
Yes, with the Z in his
hair. I thought I recognized
the Black Zorro.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I thought I recognized him. I was like,
yeah, that was him. And shout out to him because we did Above the Rim. And he was the main character in Above the Rim. So yeah, we see Billy pretty much antagonizing these other players that they're gonna have to play up against. And Sydney is like, "What are you doing? We have to play up against these people." And so Billy is like, "Yeah, I know we gotta play up against these people. I'm making them mad. Sometimes when people play mad, they're not good."
Yeah.
So he was like, "I'm in the zone. I'm gonna make them mad." So with him being in the zone,
annoying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, he would have pissed me off. Like, there's so many reasons why he would have pissed me off.
He's doing too much. He's way over
way too much. So he starts pissing off. This is another part that I cracked up on because he starts pissing off the black team. The black team is Dwayne Martin and the other guy. And so he started calling them all kinds of stuff. Dwayne Martin was just like, I'm gonna send your ass back to Mayberry and tell Aunt B she better have my beef pie ready, or I'm gonna kick her ass.
Listen.
So, but
Billy honestly seems unhinged.
Yes. But it's working. That's the crazy part about it.
It's working on everybody, which is not a good idea.
Right. So another thing, when I tell you I died laughing at this part because Dwayne Martin and his teammate, their jerseys are black.
Yes.
So one of the referees was like, while they're going back and forth with Billy, of course, it's taken away from him actually them actually playing the game because they're actually playing.
Right.
And one of the referees is like, "Black, your ball." And they turned around and was like, "Black."
Right.
And they was like, "No, we're talking about your jersey, not your skin color."
Right. You know what? Let's go. Let's leave, actually. Oops.
When I tell you, I was hollering. The man were scared, okay? They was scared.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Billy does it again. And, Sydney is pulling him back like, what are you doing? You need to chill out. And he's just like, man, I'm making him mad. I'm in the zone. Blah, blah, blah. And they start going back and forth. And then Billy was like,
crazy,
are you
Billy?
Right? Crazy ain't the word. Like
he was like, what did he say? He was asking Sydney, well, am I getting on your skin or am I making you mad or whatever? Right. And Sydney, of course, is pretending that he isn't. But honestly, for me, I was like, no, actually, you're just exhausting.
Right.
Now I'm tired and I don't want to play anymore.
Right. I don't want to play no more. Just, I'm going home. So, but yeah. And like he's doing all of this behind the scenes, people are seeing him and all this kind of stuff. Like it was crazy. But they get on, they get on the court, they get busy. At the end of the day, they won the tournament. Another thing that pisses me off every time I watch this movie. So they're in the car. They're in Sydney's car, and Sydney is driving Billy home.
Yeah.
Yes, he's driving him home. They have the prize money. They have the check. The check will clear. They get into a disagreement on if white boys can, dunk. They really have a back and forth about this. They just so happen to be across the street from an abandoned car lot that has a basketball goal. And they ended up betting their end of the winnings on
Billy's dumbass lets himself get scammed again.
Yes. And so Billy's like, I can dunk. You can just give me 3 tries. All 3 tries. He can't dunk.
Billy has a gambling problem.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's probably the reason why they're in the mess that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because of his gambling problem. But yeah. Most definitely have a gambling problem. He loses his side of the winnings. So with him losing his side of the winnings, now he's walking home with the trophy, mind you. Now he's walking home. Now he got to figure out how the hell does he tell Gloria he lost the money.
We won the game, but I lost the money.
Right. Here's the trophy that's not even worth $5. On his way home,
you see them. They're partners, right? So we see Rhonda in one scene, we see Gloria in another, and they both are like having or had put together like a nice romantic dinner for their victory, right?
Right.
Only Gloria's alone.
Yes, Gloria's alone, drinking out the bottle.
Mm-hmm. Rhonda is with Sydney, and they're having a great time.
Yes, a candlelight dinner with wine out of a glass.
Oh, it was a little curious to me that he was sitting on the sofa while she was sitting on the floor. I was like, okay.
I mean, it was a little bit off. I'm sure that it was definitely symbolic, but
no, I thought it probably had something to do with just how they wanted the shot to look,
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like it was symbolic with the shot, but I also think, I mean, you can also be practical about it. Like this man just played all day in basketball. His joints are probably tired. He ain't getting on that damn floor. He ain't getting
probably
on that
not.
floor.
I was just like,
So
oh, that's so cute, but you're so far apart. Like, you know.
yeah. But when you look at the placing, like the plates were both on Sydney's side, so it looked like she was supposed to be on the couch with him,
Mm-hmm.
but she opted not to, and I think that was symbolic. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Um. Anywho, Billy on the way home walks past a boutique, sees a dress that looks nice, and he buys the dress for Gloria.
Because Sydney had suggested to him, hey, why don't you get your girl a nice dress so when she goes on Jeopardy, you know, she can look nice in this nice dress. She'll really appreciate that you did that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I'm sorry. But yeah, so he gets back to the motel. She's upset because it took him forever to come home, and he hands her the gift. So she opens it up, and mood completely changed. Oh, Billy. So she,
Right, because when he got there, she was mad, like you
yeah,
said.
she was mad.
Said, the piece of coal, and now the wine is warm. Where have you been? Yeah.
Where you been? Exactly. So,
and then she gets that dress. She's, oh, Billy. I'm like, girl, if you don't leave him, you bird. Oh my God.
Man, annoying ain't the word, okay? So yeah, she's happy about the dress, and so now she wants to light the candles and sit on his lap or whatever. So while she's straddling him, that's when he decides to tell her that he lost the money again. She is livid.
And she should be.
Right, rightfully so. So now she's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. She packs her stuff and she leaves. And she leaves so abruptly that she knocked over a candle and there was paper on the floor. So the candle connected to the paper and with the carpet up under it causes a fire. So while he
hold on. So while they're having this argument though, and she's talking about going on Jeopardy and stuff, he's like, they're not calling you.
Yeah, you're not going on Jeopardy.
You're not going on Jeopardy. Excuse me?
Pisses her off even more.
Me too. Because now you're trying to gaslight me into staying with you in this loser situation.
Exactly.
At least I'm out here studying, trying to be the best at this thing that I want to do.
Right.
And you just got me a dress. Oh, but there's no way I'm making it. Huh?
Right. Like, what are we doing all this for?
After you lost our money for the third time?
Exactly. Some foolishness. Some straight up foolishness. So yeah, just pissed all on her dreams. So they go to the curb because she is like, I am out of here. And he's trying to, get her to not leave. So she gets to the curb and she sticks her thumb out. She's like, I'm for real gone. And people are starting to, notice, but he's putting her thumb down, waving the cars to keep going or whatnot. So then she finally gets his attention by keep hitting him upside his head. And she's like,
he doesn't listen. She said his name 3 times. He doesn't listen. Oh.
Right. And so she's like, the carpet's on fire. So he goes back to the room to try to put the fire out. While he's putting the fire out, a guy does stop for her. And she gets in the car with him and she's gone. So once he puts the fire out and the sprinklers come on, now he's even more pissed because you just messed up the room by the time the sprinklers come on. And
off the door, boy.
Yeah. So soon as he realizes that she didn't just took off, that's when he is about to go after her, but he gets stopped by the Stoogie Brothers. Stoogie Brothers finally found him. So they punch him. That's how he finds out that they are there. So they take him to some part of the river or ocean, I guess, because it's LA. And they are threatening him for their money. And he's just like, give me a week, blah, blah, blah. So they start to show him all these pictures of all these dead bodies. that they've killed.
I was like, you have a photo album
Yeah, like
of your crimes? Because I'm thinking of, The Wire. We don't take notes in a criminal conspiracy.
right,
But
right.
no, they took
So
photos and put them in an album.
they put him in a whole photo album that he carries with him.
Yeah.
To for random times when he has to show people, like, hey, I do this. Like,
So
here's the evidence. I
right.
do this. Right. So so yeah, so they give him a week and then they take him back to the hotel or the motel. They take him back to the motel and they're like, okay, you got a week and we need my money. I need my money, period. So Sydney, like I said, was a jack of all trades. Oh, wait, before then, Sydney goes home one day. And when he goes home, he hears a lot of commotion. Come to find out, it's coming from his apartment. It's his wife. She's cussing out the whole apartment complex because somebody broke into their apartment. And the police are there. The police are, doing what the police do in a robbery, which is hardly anything.
Right. And they're mad at her for being upset.
Right. Right. And he's like, what happened? And the cop was like, a robbery. What you think? Bitch, I ain't talking to you.
Right.
Like, what? But anyway. So yeah, like that annoys me every time.
It annoys me too. I was like, excuse me?
Right.
Do your job. Leave me alone.
Right. Okay. Why you trying to judge my artifacts on the wall? Do your job. So anyway, so yeah, so she, was pissed off because they literally took everything and trashed the place. They took everything down to the baby crib. You know how diabolical you gotta be to steal a baby crib? That's crazy. That is crazy.
They're super easy to find for the hand. What you gonna do with it? Like, there's not a big market for this.
It's not.
Yeah. They didn't have like a Dolce & Gabbana baby crib. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And then the apartment that they're in, it was so random that they picked it. Like, it was like in the middle of the complex on the second floor. Like, it was such a random
thing. She was mad. She was like, I know y'all had to see or hear something.
Right.
There ain't no way they moved out their entire apartment.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Matched the fish tank.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all didn't hear anything?
Right. Right. It's crazy. It's crazy how nobody saw it, but whatevs. So she's pissed off, understandably so. He's mad, understandably so. You know what I'm saying? But he's just like, I really gotta hustle to get us up out of here. So fast forward to when like I said, he's a jack of all trades. He's also a carpenter, and he meets with this guy, this white guy. My wife and I, we decided,
to go with the memory tile.
Right.
Like, he meets at a restaurant, like an open air restaurant or whatever, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
They met at a taco spot, and
maybe they do that in LA. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, when you on the move, you meet anywhere. So yeah, they met at a taco spot. He's like, Sydney, you're late. I've been waiting for you. So yeah. So my wife and I, so he picked number 88, and he wrote the check and he was sent on his way. But while all of this was going on, Billy finds Sydney while he's in the middle of this business meeting. So,
and does Billy respect the fact that he sees Sydney is busy with another person?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But Billy's not a respectable person, period. So
I do not like him at all.
Woody Harrelson really played the hell out of this role, didn't he?
Oh my gosh. It almost made me not like Woody Harrelson. If this had been like the first movie I ever seen with Woody Harrelson, I'd be like,
yeah. Right. And that's fair. And that's fair. And that's probably why I'm probably glad I did not assess this movie until now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because man, he pissed me off. So
And to me, a character like that, like in real life anyway, is dangerous.
extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely.
I mean, the
Yeah.
way he's acting, he doesn't really think before he acts. He's very self-centered.
Yes,
He
very
tries
impulsive.
to control his girlfriend several times, manipulate, and then also physically, like when she tries to leave.
Yeah.
The way he was trying to rile people up at the basketball thing, there's a way to do that, and you're going over the top now, and somebody's probably going to respond.
Yeah. And
So
you
I'm
don't
gonna
know
need
these
to
people
stop.
like that.
Right.
Right. You do not know these people like that. That is extremely dangerous. Like you do that right before you rile them up, like right before you about to play them or in the game. You don't
Right.
do that when you're watching. Like no, because
Constantly too, like
yeah, like
yelling
no,
at the top of his lungs, like
yeah, just on the side, and it's just like, dude, what are you doing? So yeah, but yeah. So they what part was we on? Forgot.
so he was seeing him at the taco stand, talking to the dude about the
Oh
tile.
yeah. So yeah. So he completely is disrespectful in that moment. So Sydney had to hurry up and, you know, send the man on his way. And so he was just like, dude, what do you want? So he was just like, Gloria left me. So Sydney feels a bit empathetic.
Which I was surprised. I thought he would have
Yeah.
said about time.
Right. Like, you know, but you know, he's outside of basketball, you know.
Even still.
Right. But I
You
feel
remember
like
when they walked into his apartment and all his friends were like, "She was you?"
yeah.
So
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
I can
that's
see this
just a man
coming.
thing,
I can see this
period.
coming,
But
bro. Also, you lost that money how many times? I used to say, like,
right. But I feel like the human side came out of him. You know,
yeah.
because he's probably messed up a few times, I'm sure, in his relationship. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So when he hears that Gloria left him, he's probably like, this dude, for one, he ain't gonna survive without her. And for
No.
two, you know, he probably loves love. Like he's married with a kid. He probably loves love, you know.
Love is an action word, baby. It's not just an emotion. And he is not putting in the action for the emotion.
Right. But he doesn't know the ins and outs. Remember, they just met not too long ago. So he doesn't know the ins and outs of their relationship. And
Oh
all
no,
he's hearing is that he left or that she
you know,
left.
I would have thought, because especially like the way he was acting towards Sydney about her.
Mm-hmm.
I would if Sydney had been like, yeah, I wouldn't have blamed him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But he's just like, you know, he's empathetic and he's just
Mhm.
like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and help you out. Excuse me.
Besides, I
So
think he needs money to try and get the house.
yeah.
Because his wife is like, listen, I need to get a job because she's like, I'm basically tired of waiting on you.
Okay. Like this is stupid. She probably is college educated and just like, you know what, I'm getting a job. I don't care what
You're right.
So so yeah. So Sydney tells Billy he's gonna help him, but you're gonna owe me. So he takes him to this basketball court where the guy who had the necklace earlier is playing. So this is pretty much his court that he has domain over. What he does as a day job, however, is a security guard on the lot where they do Jeopardy. So they go over there to him, and you know, Sydney talks to the guy, and he's just like, you know, you still work over there on the lot. They still do Jeopardy, right? And he's like, yeah, man, I've been over there for real. I love my job and blah blah blah. Don't nobody get on the
I take it seriously. I was like,
I take
okay.
his right. He take his security guard job seriously. Don't nobody get on the lot unless he say so. So he
Sorry
tells
for
him, you
checking
know,
IDs. It's all right.
that's
Chill.
the
Right.
best, you know. So he tells him, like, you know, Billy's girlfriend wants to get on Jeopardy. Can you make that happen? He was like, I can get her on the lot, but you gotta bet me for it. You gotta do a
He's like, you'll owe me.
yeah, you'll owe me. So then they ended up betting him to do a shot. I forgot what shot it was called, but he had to do a shot.
A hook shot, I think.
Yeah, that came up later, but they called it something else first. But he had to do a shot to the basketball goal, and if he loses, he gives him his car.
Right.
Yeah. And so then he was like, all right, bet. So then they was like, no, you're not shooting for the sedan. You're shooting for
no, you're not. That's Ghana. You're shooting for
the sedan. Right.
Right.
That's Ghana. You're shooting for sedan. So sedan is the other goal.
It's on the opposite side of where they're from.
Right. And he's packed back further than the halfway mark.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's basically at the 3-point line for Ghana.
Yeah.
So and then it was like and a hook shot. So so he did the hook shot. He made it. And so Gloria ended up getting on Jeopardy. And Sydney and Billy was in the audience. And she killed Jeopardy.
I do wonder how they found her to tell her.
Right.
Because we don't know where she was.
We don't know where she was. Unless, to your point, she may have kept calling, giving them new numbers. So wherever she ended up, she put her name back on the list and they just found her on the list. Yeah. It's a lot of, us having to put two and two together on our own to make this make sense in this movie.
That's something we should need to be doing.
Exactly. So, yeah. So she kills Jeopardy, right? She won a lot of money. So now
they have actually Alex Trebek on there,
Yes.
I'm sure they're on the actual set, all that kind of stuff. Yes. And they come up with like categories of things she's been talking about throughout the movie.
Yes. So, foods that start with the letter Q.
Yes.
So yeah. And that scientist that was next to her, he was outdone. He was like, really? So yeah, so when I tell you she slaughtered it, she slaughtered it.
She won like $141,000.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then they keep going back. They have returning.
Oh yeah. You come back. Yeah.
So yeah, so she kills it or whatever. So now they're staying in a luxury hotel. Well, she is or whatever, but
she say right.
Billy, right. So Billy and Sydney, they end up going backstage, and Billy is banging on her dressing room door, and she's not answering. And Sydney is like, "Yo, you need to chill out." So then one of the producers comes out, and she's like, she doesn't want to talk to you. So he's trying to barge his way in.
He tried to physically move that. I was like,
yeah. And like Sydney had to kind of like hold him back, and she was pushing him back like, yo, she don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, she was like, I said what I said. You need to leave.
Right. Like, dude. So she closes the door and walks off. So
because at this point, Billy's behavior could possibly jeopardize the guy who is a security guard.
Yes. Hell, it could probably even jeopardize Gloria being on the show,
Right.
It could, like he's doing too much. He's doing too much. Like he needs to calm down. But Sydney told him, like, hey, there's another door. Go ahead and handle your business.
Sydney, she don't want to talk to him.
Right.
Can we just respect her boundaries for once?
Just a tad. That's all we ask. That's all. But he goes in through the other door with his guitar. And he done made a song for like the hit go. Mm-hmm. And it wins her over. That's all he had to do.
Tweet.
Oh, yeah. So now they're both at the hotel room, the luxury hotel room. And so they're still keeping the money in the jar. And she takes about $2,000 out. And she's like, I want you to go get yourself some clothes. And he's like, yo, I don't feel comfortable with taking your money. I might lose it again. I might do something stupid, which is fair.
Mm-hmm. You might, but this is what he said. That was like, you're probably right. So here's the thing. I'm going to give you this money. And if you do something stupid with it, don't come back.
basically. But she was like, I trust you because you need to get a job. Like, I like you the way you
Trust
are,
you.
but there's no way in the world I would tell this man I trust him. But
Based on what?
yeah, no way. But yeah, so she's just like, I trust you, but you need to get some clothes. I like you the way you are, but you need some new
These
clothes
are
for a job
right.
interview.
These are our homeless, unemployed clothes from running across the country from the mob. We should get some new ones, huh?
Right. Just one or two outfits. So he takes the money.
And hold on, because he's like, get a job.
Right.
Oh,
Right. Like, I'm breaking out in hives just thinking about it. A job.
right.
Like, yeah, motherfucker, a job. Like,
he's like, well, I guess I have to realize, something apparently had happened in college while he was playing basketball. And basically he's like come to terms with the fact that his dreams of being in the NBA or whatever aren't coming true. No shit, my guy.
Right. Yeah, because the NBA is not going to find you doing what you're doing now. So,
like, how old is he supposed to be? Because you should have figured that out by now.
Right. And how long ago was college?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
How long have you been on the run? See, I need backstory. I need a lot of it. I have questions that need answers. But yeah, so we have this next scene where they're out. I think they're on Venice Beach probably. And she got her rollerblades on, and they're, talking about the future and whatnot. And then Sydney pops up. And Sydney's like, yo, I got a business proposition for you, because there's some guys over at such and such park and they spending crazy money. They want to run it. Let's do it. And so then he's like, I got 2 G's right now, blah, blah, blah. Already, you messing up.
It was a pair of dudes that had already played before.
Yeah. So.
And they had lost, I guess, to them or whatever, or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They had lost them, or they just had like a really big reputation. I can't remember which one.
I can't remember either. All I know is it was stupid. And so he goes, like, when he's talking to Sydney, he walked away from Gloria. So he has to go back to Gloria and let her know, like, hey, this is what's going on. We can take these guys, blah, blah, blah. She is over it.
Pissed.
Like,
I don't blame her.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I would have
been. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I would have been pissed too. And what were you gonna say?
If they had just explained it to her, particularly Sydney, about why he needed the money, I bet you anything she would have loaned it to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, given the fact that they got hustled before, I don't think she would have loaned it, but she may have been okay with them running it.
One of the two.
Yeah.
But they just don't tell her at all.
Yeah.
Which is so weird. Right. I hate that contrived lack of communication.
Yeah. Yeah. And that plays a bit into misogyny as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
you could have just told her. And she would have been like, oh,
Yeah.
Like she was when she spoke to Rhonda.
Yeah. Right. And it's just like the irony is not lost on me that these 2 women figured this out while these 2 men are being so childish that they couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Gloria's pissed. She's like, you know what? You do this, I'm done. And he's still like, we can win, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna come back and we gonna do this, we gonna do that. And she kissed him and she was just like, goodbye. And so she left. He's still like, we're gonna win. I'll be right back to you, blah, blah, blah. So then they go, they run the game, they win. He comes back to the room. She's gone. And it's really starting to sink in that this was just it for her. She couldn't do it no more.
Because he's like, she always comes back.
Yeah.
Well, she got $141,000.
Right.
Peace.
Right.
We're gonna lose more of her money. She gave you.
Right. Like, she gave you money to be an investment to better yourself, and you chose otherwise. So yeah,
you chose to gamble again,
which means that you're
but
never
I
going to change.
won.
You're
That's not gonna
never
happen.
going to change.
Right.
Like, and she's over it. There's only so many times that you can do this, and yeah, she's over it.
Yeah. And the thing for me is like Sydney, like you were saying, Sydney has other side hustles. Sydney has other jobs. He actually works
right
at things. So even though he may be he's definitely more immature than he needs to be, like for what is going on in his life, you know. But at least he's not just unemployed, seeking random ass basketball games to lose your money on.
Right. Oh, and then before we get to this scene, when they were doing the basketball game, we have to acknowledge the fact that he dunked.
Oh, right, he did. Yes.
Yeah. So white men can in fact jump. Yeah. But that is white men can't jump.
Yes.
So what were your thoughts when you were watching?
Well, I've already really said them. I don't like Billy as a character. I don't really understand why he's in the movie. He doesn't really seem to learn or grow. Other than, oh, I betrayed her trust too many times. Maybe I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And again, like the lack of how thin their characterization is for Billy and Gloria, it still gives very much like they had this idea about a story of a family and the husband and father being this basketball player, but they kind of shoehorned in this other story with Billy and Gloria. In my opinion. Yeah. But let's just go ahead and rate it and we can really get into it.
Okay. All right, let's see. We have our rating system. We have 1 movie real trash as AF, 2 it exists, 3 entertaining, 4 great, 5 a true classic. Maria, what say you?
I would give it 3.
3?
A very, very funny movie.
Yes.
Everybody's acting is really great, so definitely entertaining. I don't know if I could really stand to watch Billy again. Just do not like his character at all.
Yeah.
What about you, Lindsay?
I give it a 4. And the only reason why I don't give it a 5 is because I need background.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions that I need answers to.
Give me some context. For sure.
Yes, definitely need that. But other than that, like the casting was amazing. Outside of the background stories, the writing was amazing. The set, you know, the cinematography, everything
was really great cinematography. Really beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. And it's extremely funny. I always liked the movie, and I've watched it. Like I said, I've watched it often throughout my years. But to sit down and actually really analyze this movie for the review, I was dying laughing on stuff I have heard for the past 30 years. Like
it's hilarious for sure.
Yes. So I
was this funny.
Yeah. Right. And you don't come across movies like that, you know what I mean, that are funny like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And especially when you're not really expecting, like, okay, I'm watching White Men Can't Jump. But to not expect for it to like be that funny, it was like a breath of fresh air a bit, you know. So
I think the same reasons you gave for it not being a 5 are the same reasons I give for it not being a 4. Because everything else is so well done except for this.
Yes. Absolutely. But it was definitely a success when it came out. It was a big deal. It was big and I did a little reading, and I saw that in 97 they actually did have that category, foods start with the letter Q, on Jeopardy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
Oh no, so okay, Gloria won $14,100 on her first episode.
yeah, on the
So
first
great.
episode. But they keep going back, so ain't no
Yeah.
telling. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Oh, but then we also, Billy ran into the mobsters and paid them. Remember?
oh, right, right.
Then the next thing we see is his bloody mouth, and he's laying on a empty mattress in like in the middle of a field or something, like he's been shot. They take a picture, and he gets up. So apparently, all these pictures are just fake murder.
Right, right.
This is even more weird.
Right.
What's this album for?
Album
And how do you
full of
convince
fake
people?
pictures.
If the police find it, how do you convince them these people aren't dead?
Exactly. Like, go look them up. They're there. Like, so yeah. But yeah, just the whole backstory thing, which I feel like, which we'll probably do since we did this one. We'll probably do the remake so we can dive into that a bit more, because the remake did have a little bit more background.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah. And then like Billy and Sydney are friends now, but I'm not really sure why. Billy is dangerous, honestly. You have a kid at
extremely
home.
dangerous. One thing when I was watching it or whatever, one thing I brought up that I always questioned was, how are you able to run this play with this white boy? Like, word don't get around.
Because it's not like he's a white boy.
Yeah, right. And so my friend was like, but it's back then, like they didn't have cell phones like that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but news still traveled.
Yeah,
and
those people
like
still go to those games. They go to different games.
Right. And that's what I told him. I was just like, the basketball community, like the street ball community, is small. You don't think that if a white boy was out here winning games, that news wouldn't travel? Like, people in Watts would have heard about what happened in South Central. People in South Central would have heard about what happened in Inglewood. Like this would have traveled.
Right.
So I'm like, there's only so many times you can run this play, and people
they didn't have cell phones, but they didn't need carrier pigeons. Like, guys, come on.
Right. I was like, they should have ran that. They would have had to go like to Sacramento or to Vegas or Seattle or something like that. Like, news travels
way upstate or whatever.
Yeah, like news travels way fast for them to only be able to run this play in LA a couple of times. I was just like, but they're hitting up every city in the county. It's like, yeah. So that I've always questioned that, but some things you just gotta, put to the side.
Movie magic, right?
Like, yeah.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. Right. He was like, you're right. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm right.
That's why I said it. Right. Apparently the character of Gloria was originally conceived as an upper class white girl at Smith or Barnard who runs away with a bad boy.
So how did it become a New York Puerto Rican?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, it's just when it comes to him that she's like making bad decisions. Other than that, she's pretty smart.
Yeah. Especially if you're trying to get on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm the dumbest person in the room, but I ain't trying to get on Jeopardy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not interested. But I like watching the show. I love trivia and stuff like that. So I love like trivia games or whatever. And so she's over here just studying all the time, just studying for this one opportunity.
Like, it would make sense if they were to have met in college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then, but we need to know what happened to college.
Right. Yeah, because I could totally see that, her being a good student or whatever, because she studies a lot, right?
Right.
Him playing basketball, them getting together, whatever. But how did they get into this predicament? Like,
right. And like, I can see them, being together for probably like 10 plus years. They met in college, and he was like this star in college, but whatever happened happened.
Right.
And like, because he was such a big star, but years would have to be passed for people to forget about him, for him to be able to hustle like he
right,
hustled.
because people who enjoy basketball, especially in America, keep up with college basketball.
College. Exactly. They keep
So
up with college more than they keep up with the NBA.
right.
It's
So if he's
March
that
Madness is
good,
real.
oh yeah, if he's that good and he's out in LA, somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, ain't
Yeah.
that?" You know.
Right. Didn't you play for,
Right.
so I remember when you played UCLA, like something. But yeah. Yeah, especially if he went to LSU. But they just said a college in Louisiana, so
Yeah,
I wonder what happened.
Yeah, what happened?
Right. So yeah. That's the only real problem I have. Like I get he's a fuck up or whatever. And that would have made more sense with him being a fuck up. Because he probably was always a fuck up and people always like bailed him out because he was such a good player. You know what I mean?
Or maybe he got caught up in gambling when he was playing in sports and he wasn't supposed to be doing that.
Right. Because you can gamble in Louisiana. So
it would be nice to know.
Yeah. You're right. It would.
Yeah. But I also remember like the soundtrack being a pretty big deal when it came out. Because you have Boyz II Men, you have Queen Latifah, you have Jodie Watley, you have BB and CC, the OJs, Aretha Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also came out with another soundtrack. So the first one, of course, is for the movie White Man Can't Jump. And the second one is called White Man Can't Rap. So it's like all the rap songs from the movie on that soundtrack. So you got Cypress Hill, Main Source, College Boys, Gangstar, Booyah, and Tribe on that.
Huh. I don't know nothing about the soundtrack outside of the song. Don't you know that white men can't jump? White men can't jump. That's it. Yeah. And they played on the ending credits.
I remember the Aretha Franklin song. I was like, oh, okay. I hadn't heard this movie. Like, but yeah. And I hearing some of the other stuff, I was like, oh, this is like, okay. Yeah. But they had 2 CDs for that.
They had 2 what?
They had 2 soundtracks for this movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this movie was a big deal. Mm-hmm. This movie was a big deal. And they were big actors back then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And this really just catapulted.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it really catapulted Woody.
Oh yeah.
Because like, Wesley was already on top. Back then.
Was he already on top or was he black famous? You know what I mean?
No, he was on top because Passenger 57 was out back then.
Okay.
What else was out? If Passenger 57 wasn't already out, it was coming out that year.
Because the movies I know him from are after this one.
Okay. What else? I can't think, but yeah, but we know Woody from Cheers.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, so this may have been one of his early movies because because like in the 80s he was just Cheers.
He was just Cheers. And this had a budget of $31 million and made $90.8 million. So big hit. Huge hit.
They made a lot up against, I think it was like a little over 1,900 screens the first weekend, and it made a whole lot. And it made the majority of the money in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this was a big deal. So that was White Man Can't Jump. It was a great replacement. We'll try more money again
someday when it comes back.
Right.
I will have to actually watch it that day because that was so again. What? Wow.
Right. And something told me, because I'm like, we getting to the end of the month. By the time we come back, it's gonna be gone. Something told me it was gonna be gone. But yeah. Yep.
It happened again. I'm sorry.
Sorry guys. So What are we watching next time?
Okay, so we have two options, and they're both on trains. So I need you to decide between zombies or oppression.
Zombies.
Train to Busan, 2016.
Train to Busan.
Busan, Busan. So it's on Peacock.
Okay.
It's a Korean film. Again, came out in 2016.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Got it.
I will send you the info.
Bet. What was the other one?
We'll save that for later.
Oh, okay. We will. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to make sure it's still streaming first.
Right. Right.
I did check on both of them right now, but who knows next time? So
man, it's crazy. All right. So Maria, where can we find you?
You can find me pretty much on Blue Sky at Valor More Dollars, VALARMOR dollars.bsky.social. You can follow me there. I'm also on another podcast called Nerdgasm Noir with 5 other Black women where we talk about geeky, nerdy, pop culture things. So you can come join us there as well. Where can they find you, Lindsay?
You can find me everywhere at L_Ranelle. That's L_RANELLE. And I'm also on my other podcast, the Ishri Talk, with me and my cousin, where we talk about various topics.
Hot topics.
Yes. So yeah. So this was episode 72 of Roomies Review Movies. And we will see you guys for episode 73.
See you for episode 73. Please give a thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Bye.
Yep, all that good stuff. See ya.